Hello, welcome back to the Breaking News Update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a breaking news report coming out from Ukraine, and I've got some intelligence that I want to share with you guys that further proves that the Russians are not ready for peace, and if anything, they want to take over more territories inside of Ukraine. So we're going to talk about this gentleman here on your screen. His name is Colonel Pavlo Palisa. He's the deputy head of the office of the president of Ukraine. So he works directly under Andriy Yermak and also Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. So all this information I give you guys comes directly out of Zelensky's office. So if you look at this story here, Ukraine warns the U.S. that Russia plans to block Ukraine from the sea. Russia aims to occupy all Ukrainian territory east of the Dnipro River and advance toward Odesa and Mykolaiv in a broader plan to sever Ukraine's access to the Black Sea. This was stated by Pavlo Palisa today, and some of you might not know this, but apparently over the last couple days we've had a Ukrainian delegation present in Washington to meet with U.S. officials and give information regarding the strikes that took place on the airfields in Russia over the weekend. Last Sunday, as we had strategic bombers being blown up by FPV drones under Operation Spider's Web, and also to give more military intelligence over to the U.S., talk about how things are going in this war, give some information about the Russians as well. And allegedly, this is something he brought up while he was holding a conference over there. So I actually have pictures coming out from that conference that I can show you guys, and an actual map that he was presenting to show what the Russians' plans are in this war and what they're preparing with their offensive, as this offensive is already underway right now. So we're going to talk about all these details. I'm going to try to give you as much information as I can regarding this story, because this is very big coming out from Ukraine today. Let's hop on over here to United 24 Media. Russia intends to seize east of Ukraine and block Black Sea access by 2026, says Ukrainian official. You can see the date here, June 6, 2025. And it says right here, Russia aims to occupy all Ukrainian territory east of the Dnipro River and cut Ukraine off from the Black Sea by 2026, according to Colonel Pavlo Palisa, deputy head of the office of the president of Ukraine. So look how it says by 2026, guys. I mean, that's by the end of the year. That means we're going to see major operations taking place in the south. And then this lines up with the stories that I've been reporting to you guys over the last few days, that the Ukrainians have been hammering the occupied territories of Kherson and Zaporizhia, Crimea, just heavily with drones. They've been destroying power substations over there, entire blackouts of cities, tens of thousands of people in these occupied areas of Ukraine without power. That explains what we're seeing here with that information. He made the remarks during a visit by Ukrainian delegation to Washington, as reported by Politico on June 5th. Citing Ukrainian military intelligence, Palisa stated that Moscow intends to expand its control in eastern Ukraine, beginning with the full occupation of Donetsk and Luhansk regions this fall. The plan reportedly includes the creation of a buffer zone along Ukraine's northern border with Russia by the end of the year. So we've been reporting that as well over the last couple weeks, okay? Up here near Kharkiv and Sumy regions, that the Russians have tens of thousands of soldiers stationed on the border over there. They're preparing to set up a buffer zone, possibly even attack several areas. And we know that in the Sumy region, the Russians are opening up a front over there right now, and they've broken inside of Ukrainian territory. Finally, it says here, speaking to journalists at Ukraine's embassy in Washington, Palisa emphasized that Russia's long-term objective for 2026 is to seize all territory east of the Dnipro River. Russia also hopes to seize the southern Ukrainian regions of Odesa and Mykolaiv, he said, which would cut Ukraine off from the Black Sea, a vital conduit for exports of Ukrainian grain, Politico quoted Palisa as saying. Earlier, Meghan Mobbs, daughter of Trump's special representative for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, responded to a large-scale Russian missile attack on Ukrainian cities during the night of June 6 with a pointed message to her father. And she said, quote, "It's a loud night in Kiev, Dad," Mobbs wrote on her X account, tagging Kellogg. "It might be the explosions and gunfire in the dead of the night, but I get a strange feeling the Russians don't want peace." I mean, yes, guys, that's very clear. I've been stating this for a long time. The Russians do not want to end this war. They want to continue the fighting inside of Ukraine until Ukraine is demolished. Their plan is to take them over and absorb them at some point. Now, could this take Russia another 5, 10 years? Who knows? But apparently, by the end of the year, they're planning to make some major gains inside of Ukraine, and these could definitely be some really bad gains, in my opinion, if they were to control the Black Sea here and force Ukraine out of there. This would be a good majority of their territory taken over. So let's jump on over to X now. Let me show you this other report coming out from Washington today. This is from Breaking Now. Pavlo Palisa, deputy head of Zelensky's office, warns that Russia aims to fully occupy territory east of the Dnipro River by 2026, including Odessa and Mykolaiv. I think that's supposed to be Mykolaiv. Move that would cut Ukraine off from the Black Sea entirely. Okay, so this is a picture coming out from Washington today. You can see him presenting this map. We're actually going to go over this while he's talking about it. You can see it says Embassy of Ukraine in the USA right here as well. And this is Pavlo Palisa here, okay? So this is while he was explaining this whole situation. Now let's look at this map here. It says Russia's plans. Here's the map legend, okay? So this kind of slashed red lines here with white in between indicates Russia is planning to occupy the rest of Donetsk and Luhansk Oblasts, okay? So that's going to be Donetsk regions right here. Might be a little hard for you guys to see, but this is the Donetsk region and the Luhansk region right next door, directly eastern side of Ukraine, that the Russians are trying to occupy the remaining portion of it, okay? Luhansk, they've got a good majority of it under their control, and then the Donetsk region, not completely, but they want to occupy the rest of it. That would drag into also the Zaporizhia Oblast, okay? And then the dark redded line here, solid red line, indicates Russia is planning to occupy the rest of Kherson Oblast and establish a buffer zone, okay? So that would be down here in the south. The city of Kherson has been getting hammered lately. We know the Russians have been trying to launch an offensive, but a large reason why they cannot is because of the Dnipro River, the river that runs through the center of Ukraine. It kind of curves and comes down here to Kherson. But apparently they want to occupy the remaining portion of Kherson. And then finally, they're supposed to do that by the end of 2025, by the way. And then finally over here, this kind of lightly red shaded line and then with dots on it, Russia is planning to occupy the entire left bank of Ukraine as well as Mykolaiv and Odesa Oblast. Okay, that would be over here. We've got the Odesa Oblast right here and then the Mykolaiv Oblast. They want to control that also, and this would be actually beyond the Dnipro River, but they want to control these two territories. That way Ukraine can no longer access the Black Sea. And we know that from the Odesa Oblast, Ukraine launches a lot of their Magura V5 drones to attack Crimea. So the Russians probably want to be able to protect Crimea better as it's being hammered almost every day by drones. And on top of that, to these Magura V5 naval drones and whatnot. So you can see here what the Russians are planning. And they've got this buffer zone here that we know about that they're working on right now. So they want to take over all these territories, guys. We're talking Poltava, part of Dnipro, Kharkiv, Sumy, Cherniv, Mykolaiv, Odessa, the rest of Kherson. I mean, a good majority of Ukraine, and look at what is left of Ukraine if they're able to achieve this. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this right here, but by the 1st of this year, 1st of September, excuse me, that's when they plan to occupy Donetsk and Luhansk regions, is these two over here, okay? So we can see what Russia's plans are, and we know ultimately at the end of the day, their real plan here is just to crush Ukraine completely and eliminate them. But if they were to take over the Black Sea, that would hurt Ukraine a lot, especially with their grain exports. And they would not be able to attack Crimea as much either. It'd be very difficult for them to do so, aside from maybe drones and missile attacks in the future. But they would not be able to use naval drones. They would lose access to the Black Sea. So this is a pretty crazy report, guys. Just want to let you know what the Russians are planning over here and what's going on, at least what's coming out from the deputy head of the presidential office of Ukraine here, Pavlo Palisa. So let me know what you guys think about all these details down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.